So now you start creating wow. How do you know if that works? That's a real problem in a lot of stuff that people that don't understand in marketing are doing it all the time or advising it all the time. They tell you what to do. They give you tactical strategy, do the social media, do referrals, do this, do that, but they don't have or they don't give you a way to measure the results. So you cannot compare that from today to tomorrow or from tomorrow to next week, and you don't know what works and what doesn't. Now, there is a very simple tool that allows you to measure wow of your product or service or your business. It's a very simple tool. It's the easiest tool probably for that kind of stuff in the world. And it's pretty known. It's out there. And huge companies are using it. One of the biggest companies that are using it very successfully for many years is Philips. Here. Okay, they're using it. The tool is called NPS. I'm going to write something on the board. Nancy PS, okay? That's the only thing I'm going to write there. NPS. How many of you heard about the NPS score? We have about 7 people. Okay, so then I need to talk about it. Okay, it's called the NPS score. It's detailed very, very extensively in a book that is called The Ultimate Question. Okay, the ultimate question, because that's what it is. It's one question. Actually, it's 2 questions, but basically, it's one important question that you need to ask your customers or clients. So basically, I read it for the first time in the book, The Ultimate Question. I got hooked on that. I thought that it was one of the best things I ever learned in my life, and I started to implementing it in our business. And almost all of you probably were part of it. Basically, what it is, it's one question that you ask your clients or customers, and the question is very, very important. Okay? You'll need to translate it to your own language, how to say that, but the important is that to ask the most important part. The question is, how likely are you to recommend us to others? To recommend my product, to recommend my service, or to recommend my business? The question is, how likely are you to recommend us, me, my product, my service, my business, to others? That's the question. And you ask them to give you a score between 0 to 10. Okay, between 0 to 10. This is important, not 1 to 10, but 0 to 10. Is that okay? Yeah? So that's the question. Now, how many of you answered that question to us when we asked you that after the business bootcamp? This is the first thing that we asked you in this email when we give you a lot of prizes just to fill it up. How many of you did that? Okay, you remember? So we asked you a lot of questions, but that was the only question that we cared about, in a way. Okay? We wanted to know what you think about that. And this is how you use it. Okay? You get those marks. And between 9 to 10, if you get a 9 to 10, everybody that gave you 9 to 10, those are your promoters. Those are the people that will go out without you asking them, and they will go and talk about you. You want as many people as possible to fill up 9 or 10, right? Those are the promoters. Then those people that give you 7 to 8 are the passives. Those had an okay experience. They are not going to go from their own volition to go and talk about it because they had an okay experience of whatever it is that you're doing. Okay? That's 7 to 8. 0 to 6 are what they call the detractors. Those are the people that will actively will tell things against you. They will go out and say, I wasn't happy. They will go and complain. They will go and tell their friends, nah, that's not for you. 0 to 6 are what we call the detractors. So far, are we clear? So let's say that you asked 50 people after your sessions with them or your graphic design project for them, or whatever it is, you ask them one by one. All you ask them is, how likely are you to recommend me? Know how happy you are with my product or service. This is important. How likely are you to recommend my product or service or me to others? Okay? So what you do is you collect all those people that gave you. I'm going to move the board. I realize that it will be easier this way. Is that okay? It's not good for our branding. No, it's behind it. So, okay. All right. So you're having all those people that gave you between 9 to 10. Those are the promoters. You have all the people that gave you 7 and 8. Those are the passives. That's a bit funny. Okay. And all those people that gave you between 1 to 6. So those are the detractors. Okay? And it really doesn't matter, let's say, just to make it easy, from 100, let's say that you had 60 here, you had 20 here, and you had 20 here. Okay? So you had, from 100 people, 60 people said that 9 to 10, they were probably recommended. Then 20 people says, well, maybe, and 20 people say, no way. That's pretty much what it is. Is that clear? We don't care if they said 1, 3, or 5. If they were 0 to 6, they are in the detractors. Is that clear? Okay, now in order to get the NPS score, what we call the NPS score, basically you take the promoter and detract from them the detractor, or deduct. That's all you need to do. Okay, you ignore the passives. So in this case of the example, it will be 60 minus 20, right? 60 minus 20. So you get the NPS score that is equal 40. And it sounds like, you know, so what? But this is an important number for you. This is called the NPS score. Are we clear so far how to do the technique? Now, if you will read the book, you will see there's very important. This number is very important in comparison to the rest of the to the market. Let's say Philips is checking themselves in every single division, in the lamp division or in the I don't know what divisions they have. They compare to all the other companies that are doing their same product, and they ask their clients what are the numbers. They ask their own clients and the competition clients, and they want to see their numbers bigger than the competition numbers. Right? That means that people are more happy, more satisfied with their products than others. Does that make sense? For you, it's not really relevant. You don't know the competition. The competition is usually as small as you. You know, that's not really relevant. What is relevant, and that's also how we do that, I don't care about the numbers of our competitors. What I care is that if I did a business bootcamp in January, I have a number, because we are asking about 12, 13, 1,500 people about that, and we have about 90% of the people fill it up because we give them a really nice bonus if they do that, so because we want to know the numbers. So we do have from quite a lot of people the number, and what we want to make sure that when we have a March training, the number is higher. That's the only thing that we care. This number needs to go high. Is that clear? Yes? Yeah. So this is how you do that. The tool is not over. This is what you're doing in order to get the number. Okay? So you're asking them, how likely are you to recommend what I'm asked, the product, the service, to others? But the next question depends on, there are two questions, so the next question depends on what the answer was. So if they answer 9 to 10, what you're asking them then, would you be willing to be willing to give me a testimonial, so to write down why? Okay, basically you want from the 9 and 10, you want a testimonial. And if you'll notice, after the business bootcamp, that's what we asked you. If you were answering 9 to 10, I don't know if you answered 9 to 10, but if you answer 9 to 10, the next question appeared automatically, and it will be, would you be willing to give us a testimonial? And because we have, I think that we have 80% of promoters, so we have a lot of testimonials as a result of that. Okay? When they say that they have between 7 to 8, which those are the passives, your question to them needs to be, what can we do to become a 10, not a 9? What could we do to become a 10? And this is the most important feedback you can get. How many of you did the Breakthrough to Success? Okay, you remember this question? We're doing that, what do you need to become a 10? We do that in relationships and other places. This is how we do it in business. If they give you 7 to 8, then we ask you, what do we need to do in order to become a 10? And then we get the best feedback in the world. People are saying, well, you know, the music is too loud, the hours are too long or too short, or we're sitting too squeezed, or you speak too fast. It doesn't really matter what, but people give you a very valuable feedback that if you get it from enough people, then you can choose to correct it if you want. And that's how they tell you how to make it wow. This is really cool because your audience or your clients know better than you what to make it better, how to make your product better. Does that make sense? Okay, so the second question in the 7 to 8 is how can I make it a 10? 0 to 6 is a little bit trickier. First of all, hopefully you will not have a lot of them. Every company has, we have them, okay? But hopefully you don't have a lot of them. But if you have most people, what they want to do is the 0 to 6, they want to throw them away. They want to tell them, listen, you're not my client, I don't want to ever have you. But there is a reason why people are saying, I will never recommend you. Okay? They are not passive. They don't like you, or they don't like something. And usually it's because you did something to piss them off, or to hurt them, or to disappoint them. And it always happens. It always can happen, but you better find out what you did, because most of the time it's not intentionally. And most of the time you can avoid it next time. So what you're asking those people, you say, listen, I understand, and would it be okay if I will call you to find out exactly what went wrong? And from our experience, Mira, you remember about 70% says that they are willing to be called? 70, 60%, 70%, something like that. So 2/3 of the people are willing that we will call them. And basically what you should do is basically call them one by one and ask them what went wrong. You know, and sometimes you hear stuff that you didn't want to hear, but and sometimes they are just assholes, and that's also a possibility. But then you have a choice. Either I let them go because they're assholes, or I fix it really well, what I did wrong then, and then those people will become 9 and 10 in a second. If you fix it to somebody that was 0 to 6, if you fix it to them really nice, they will become 9 and 10 forever. Again, because people are not used to that. People are used to being ignored or being treated badly or whatever it is. So if they are wrong or you just don't want them, then just let them go. That's okay. But if they gave you something valuable that you realize, I did it wrong, I fucked it up, make it up to them, and they become 9 and 10 forever. Does that make sense? This NPS score is really, really valuable, and it's so easy to use. All you need is 2 questions. You can do that verbally. You can do that on an email. You can do that on a website like we do that, whatever works for you. Okay? Ask them, how likely are you to recommend me from 0 to 10? It's important, 0 to 10. If you do 1 to 10, a lot of companies make this mistake because we used to ask 1 to 10. I think we also at the beginning did that. 1 to 10 doesn't tell people, some people, which one is the best, because number 1 is, in sport, number 1 is best. Right? So if you put 1 to 10, it might be that you have all those people that are loving you and they think you're number 1. When you put 0 to 10, it's very clear. 0 is not good. It's a small twist. I mean, there's no difference here between 1 and 0. But you make sure that they know the order. Another thing that Dutch people are telling me a lot is that people in Holland will never give 10 or will not give a lot of 10s because nothing is 10. Well, from our experience, that's not true. Okay, we get a lot of 10s, but we maybe get less than they could get. It doesn't matter. That's why you give them the 9. So it doesn't matter. You don't differentiate between 9 or 10. Okay, both of them are good. Is that clear? Yes. NPS. If you want to learn more about it, go to The Ultimate Question. It's a book you can probably download on Kindle or buy it from Amazon or whatever. But I gave you everything that you need to know. The first question and the second question. Those are the things you need to know, and you can start implementing it immediately.